Today, I want to talk about getting lost chasing success. And when I say that, what I mean is not really understanding what you stand for. And because you don't understand this and because you don't know, you just take on somebody else's vision for success. And then you take that on and you go and chase it. And as you're chasing it, you're getting this sense that you're getting lost or you're feeling lost because you don't really feel connected to what is motivating you, to what your direction is, to what your purpose is, to what your gifts are. And why am I going to talk about this? Well, I've seen the two extremes on both ends of the spectrum. I didn't start out feeling lost chasing success, but I had long periods of time where I did feel like that. And you don't really start out in life starting to feel lost or trying to search for it or thinking about this. Life just naturally evolves, and especially when you are young, you kind of know what you want to do, or you just naturally gravitate towards your curiosity. And to me, that was break dance, as non-breakers would call it. And this was an amazing period in my life when I was in my teens up until my late 20s. I absolutely loved my life, and it was filled with so much creativity, expression, community, meeting people, doing your own thing, great music, everything that naturally fits me. I just naturally gravitated towards it. I started out small with just a training hall, and I found a couple of people to dance with. And as I trained, without really trying to, I became successful at it, or at least what others would perceive as success. I stepped into a group that became the best in our country, Belgium, and then became one of the best crews in the world after many years of training. But I never set out to do that. I just loved what I was doing and then just naturally grew into that until my career was kind of over, in the sense that everything I wanted to do in that scene, I kind of did. So I'm very blessed to make my dreams come true, especially like mid 20s and end of your 20s. And although that's a really great thing, it kind of sets the bar now, because although you follow your curiosity, now you made the success, you're like traveling the world, you meet all these people, you have some sort of reputation that you've built up. And I thought, geez, if I could do something like that again, but in a different industry or a different pathway, that would be the best. That's what I want. I just want a journey again. But I didn't really know what that was, if I'm being honest. I didn't have a sense of what to do next. And at the time when I ended my career, one of the reasons why I stopped doing it is because I needed money. I'm sure you heard that in the breakdance world, it doesn't seem like a world where there's going to be a lot of money going around. And you have people that make money, and you have a select amount of people, but you got to do a specific type of career, or you got to have a certain type of really extreme level to be able to do that. And that just, I felt naturally that that was not my path. But I had to start making money. So I tried to tune into what I was curious about, but because I didn't really know, I just said, like, you know what, I'm just going to make a bunch of money and then I'm going to figure it out. I'm just going to make a bunch of money and then I'm going to figure it out. And I feel a lot of people think that way. We postpone what feels good now, especially if you're like a high achiever or performer or you want to make stuff happen. We postpone things. We postpone our feeling good and happiness because we might achieve something later, and then we think like, oh, then it'll feel good then. And I rolled into this world of online entrepreneurship and online media because I was pulled in towards podcasts and speakers and entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurship has overlap with breaking, is that you do your own thing and you build something from nothing. And I thought, oh, geez, this is probably something that would fit me. And as I was trying to find my way, it was difficult because I had to make money. I was trying to make money and I didn't really know how to move forward. Somehow, some way, I started getting some clients into marketing and things like that. And I joined this company in London that at the time was one of the biggest podcasts in the world. It was like London Real. And I got to meet all the big names in the world that I admired at the time, like guys like Jordan Peterson or Run DMC, David Goggins, Ido Portal. And as I was there, basically, I worked myself into a burnout. That's long story short. I worked myself into burnout, believing that I was doing something that was good for me because the external world, it was good on paper. I was with this media company, had millions of downloads and followers, and I was helping the company make millions because I was building products and doing marketing, and I had a big contribution. And on the outside, it was growing and it was becoming so successful, but on the inside, I really felt like shit. I felt like every day a piece of me was dying. And years have gone by, not really understanding what I should do or how to move forward. I just kept moving forward, always believing if I just make the money, it'll work out. Let me just build all the skills and either build like a 4-hour work week like Tim Ferriss, or build a business that will give me money in some kind of way so that I can then go do the thing that I want to do. And basically, let's fast forward 10 years. I'm just trying to figure this out and doing this thing. But when I compare those 10 years compared to the time when I was dancing, there was not a lot of money involved, but every day there was creativity, expression, all these things. I wasn't really thinking about the external achievements and the money, but it felt good. It felt right. And talking about getting lost chasing success when you're in a quote unquote desert for 10 years and you don't really know how to get out of it. I remember one of the key points that really changed it for me was going to a concert of Limp Bizkit. When I was young, I loved Limp Bizkit. If you don't know, Limp Bizkit is like keep rolling, 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 or My Generation, or break stuff. At the time when I was a teenager, it was a very big group. If you don't know them, go look them up. They're kind of funny when you look at it now, but at the time, I absolutely loved them. I was connected to that group in some kind of way, and I didn't really know why. It was a mainstream group, but I just really liked them. And I saw that they were coming to town. I'm like, it was back in my teens. I'm in my 30s, and I think like, these guys are in their 50s. I mean, what are they going to do? But I thought, I want to see them because they're one of my idols from when I was younger. And thank God I went to watch them because the bassist now passed away like a couple months ago. But so I went to see this concert believing that they're just going to play some hits and it'll be fun. And it was absolutely cathartic. It was so great. Oh my God, unbelievable. It was one of the events of the year for me. They just absolutely nailed it. They transmitted something that they're great at to the audience. And I don't know what the life of Limp Bizkit is like behind the scenes. I'm sure they have their troubles. They're rock stars. I'm sure they're, like they're not perfect people. But as a viewer, as a customer, as the audience, I felt alive to a level that I haven't felt in so many years. And when I went home, on the one hand, I was so joyful, but I also felt so much envy at the same time. Almost this feeling of deep negativity. Because I saw that what this band was doing was taking their gifts and their expression, their creativity, and providing some type of valuable experience through their soul. And I know that I have that as well. I'm not saying that I'm going to become a rock star and travel the world and do stadiums. That's not the point. What I'm trying to say is they're living something that I am not. A part of myself that I haven't looked at for so many years, that I haven't prioritized. It just showed up. It showed up when I was at the concert and I was looking at them and I'm saying, that part, that you have that. Why are you not using that? Why are you not expressing that? And I felt so much envy. Next day, I look in the mirror, and every day, as days go by, as I'm coming down from the experience, there's almost like a feeling of self-hate, self-regret almost, of years going by and letting my soul die bit by bit. Just not prioritizing this feeling of aliveness. Why? I think it's because, to some extent, I'm brainwashed by what I see in the news, in social media, other people, that I have to get some type of level of success in terms of money or status. And then I'm prioritizing that. Combined with not knowing what I'm really curious about or what the next step is going to be after my dance career, and not prioritizing that feeling of aliveness, that feeling of presence, that feeling of what is a great day today, and just completely tuned out that voice, that part of myself, because I don't blame myself. On the one hand, I had to step into the warrior and make sure I make ends meet and make bills pay. But it's easy to step into that warrior part of yourself and not stop and just keep on pushing, and that part of you, that intuition, that voice, that connection to something bigger than yourself, those gifts, you can just completely drown those out so easily and just follow along with what everybody else is doing and think like, well, they're doing it, and if I get there, then I'll probably feel good about myself. So when I saw that, I just told myself, I'm done getting lost chasing this success. I don't want to wake up in 10 years and go to another concert and feel that same thing. Or I don't want to go and have to pay another group or some other people to make me feel alive in that sense. I want to be able to do it to myself. I want to be able to tap into that part of me without having to go outside and look at other people and buy a ticket for a concert. The power of suppression is real. It's absolutely real. And I think a lot of people don't allow that part to, they think it's something that's not that important. Or for me, like we think like suppressing stuff is very, is like not an important thing, or is like a small thing, is like, oh, whatever. There's this book called The Road Less Traveled from Scott Peck. And in this book, he talks about how he's a psychologist. And this book, by the way, when it came out, it sold more copies than the Bible, so I recommend it to you. And he would say, like, people would come into my office, and when the priest would come in, all he could talk about was the fact that he wanted to have sex. And when the prostitute came into my office, all she could talk about was that she wanted to have a relationship with God. So the point here is that whatever we suppress actually dominates our life in ways that we can't see. Because we suppress something, it comes out everywhere. And for some reason, as a human, it's just maybe because it's too painful, or because it's so invisible. It's not tangible. It's something that is hard to grasp, that is so hard to deal with. Some people just tap into their gift so easily, or they find their path and they're on there. And some people have such a hard time tapping into it. And as I'm saying, getting lost chasing success, like this whole idea, it's a very invisible, intangible thing. Like, what does that mean? It's when you look at numbers on the bank account, you can very easily say you're making more, or the other person's making more, he's winning, he's not winning. But when we're talking about waking up, feeling like you have a sense of purpose, feeling like you're on the path, feeling like you're living out your gifts, it's not a tangible thing. It's very invisible. And it's an art to tap into that. So the reason I'm making this video is because I've gotten to a point where I told myself I'm not going to be living out of fear anymore. I'm not going to be chasing money and status and external excess, having it cost my internal sense of feeling good and my sense of direction and purpose. I think all those things are fine. Like, I want to make money, like I want to be on a big stage. I'd love to have big audience and have loads of influence. Absolutely. I'm not saying that that's not the way to go, but I don't want to prioritize that anymore. And making this video is me tuning into my curiosity. It's looking at Limp Bizkit and seeing their expression and following my expression. And my expression is, I want to bring people together and I want to show them the bullshit of the world and not have to go through patterns of suffering and pain day in, day out when it's avoidable. I think suffering is unavoidable. Like, we suffer through life, of course. But certain nuggets of wisdom can help you live a better life. There are people out there that are living happy lives every single day, and there are people that are miserable every single day. And if you think you have to live through one of these two and you can't change, I don't want to believe that. I think that's a sad way to live. I want to be able to live a life that's challenging, where I at least have some control of my direction. I don't think I control what the universe wants me to do. I believe I have a path, and this one path out of 100 is made just for me, and it's my responsibility to find that path, but I don't believe it has to be my reality to live miserable day in, day out and feel like, oh, it's not up to me. It's just this is the way I was born. Fuck that. So with this, I introduce you, the new Alexander Dziri. Thank you for listening.